Shalom family, trendsetter. I'm driving, so you will hear some noise in the background, as well as this dumbass phone that I have. See, like I told you, every couple of months I gotta change my phone because these devils are on to me. They be bugging my phone and shit, listening to me, so I gotta try to outwit them. So I'm going backwards instead of going forward. I'm getting away from this smartphone. It's too fucking smart for my own good. But anyway, it is 7:04 a.m. The sun is about to break through the sky. And I want to share some thoughts with y'all, right? I want to show you how indoctrinated we really are. Well, yeah, me too, to a degree. So I'm gonna say we. Now, today is supposed to be Thursday, right? Morning, the 17th. I'm actually gonna give y'all a date. Right? So October 17, 2019, according to the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, whatever. Now, yesterday, around 4:45 p.m., Wednesday, I got a text saying that I had to go pick up a load from Eastern Shore, Maryland, to take to Rochester, New York. So right now I'm in Pennsylvania, I think. Yeah, Pennsylvania, right? So I called my wife and I'm like, hey, you probably got to get our daughter. I'm not going to mention her name and shit. Because she have aftercare and I usually take turns picking her up. So I said, I can't pick her up today because I want to go home and get some rest because I have to pick up a load 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. So she said, oh, you mean 2 a.m. Thursday morning? And I said, nah, Wednesday morning. She said, today is Wednesday. It's 4:45. Why are you saying 2 a.m. Wednesday morning? Do you mean next week? I said, no, today. So she was like, it doesn't make sense. How are you going to say it's a.m. when, don't you know that after midnight it's another day? But I know this according to how we're taught and shit. But I wanted to fuck with her a little bit. So I said, nah. I said, according to how you believe it to be. But no, really and truly, until the sun come up, it's still the same day. So she sighed, right? She was like, here we go. Because I like to pick up rain and shit. Because, for those of you who've been with me, you know how my mind works, right? I don't think like how the white man taught me how to think. I think outside of the box. So just stick with me for a while, right? So anyway, I said to her, you remember the other day, I think it was last Monday, we was watching a movie. And it was like around 11:59 p.m. Monday. And I think the movie ended like 12:05 or 12:06. And she said, let me get ready to go to bed because, I want to get up early. No, she said, I got to get up early Tuesday morning. I got a meeting. So I said, Tuesday morning? She said, yeah. She said, I got to get up early in a couple of hours. So I said, why did you say Tuesday morning? She said, yeah, I messed up because it is already Tuesday. I said, no, it's still Monday. She said, no, it's not. It's Tuesday. She said, it's 12:06 a.m. So I said, you telling me that at 11:59 p.m. it was still Monday, but 1 minute made a difference in a day? And, I know how we're taught, what I'm saying, based on the Julian calendar or the Gregorian calendar, that, 12 midnight and shit is another day, which doesn't make any sense to me, because when you read, even in the scriptures, it tells you when the sun come up and shit, that's when, it's another day, because, Friday sundown, a lot of y'all do the Shabbat, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, or Saturn day sundown, the day y'all worship Satan. But anyway, that's for another video. And you can say it's another day because of a minute. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to explain to her that, no, I said I have to pick up the load 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. And she was just like, I guess she was getting frustrated with me. Because like I said, I like to fuck with her a little bit. You know what I mean? So I said to her, let me ask you a question. I said, you know how the Gentiles, how they go to Times Square and they have the countdown when the ball drops and shit. At 11:59, they start doing the countdown, and then when it hit midnight, when it hits midnight, it's a new year. She said, yeah. I said, do you really believe it's a new year? She said, yeah. Well, 12 midnight, after December, it's actually January, a new year. I said, according to who? She said, well, I know, according to man. So I said, doesn't it really make sense that January, right? the heart of winter, when everything is dead, there's no trees. I mean, there's no leaf on the tree. That the ground is dry. It's freezing outside. Everything is dead. Do you really believe that's a new year? And she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, the new year, according to the scriptures, is actually in the springtime when everything is coming back to life. That's a new year. That's a new dawn. And I said, that's why I always tell you that, you know, before the year is up, something major is going to happen. And I remember one time I said it to her. She said, well, we only got a couple more months in the year. I don't see anything happening. I said, but no, according to the Gregorian calendar, Julian calendar that you guys go by, it's a year for you. I said, for me, right up until spring, you know, begins, that's going to be the end, you know, almost the end of the year, almost the end of this year. Because I told her, I said, you know, when you really and truly think about it from a Hebraic perspective, the new year doesn't begin until springtime. So I said, a lot of people thinking that when I said that it was going to happen before December, something major is going to happen. I said, no. I said, I'm talking about the year that I go by, because I go by the you know what I'm saying? I don't go by the Julian calendar or the what you call it, Gregorian calendar. I go by the lunar calendar. You know what I'm saying? In other words, for me, another day begins when the sun comes up. Like right now, it's 7:10 a.m. I see, you know, it's light outside. So now, for me, this is Thursday. Now, if it would have been, let's say, 4 a.m., you know, it would have been Wednesday for me until the sun come up. And the reason why I'm saying it like this, family, I just want y'all to understand that we have been indoctrinated, okay? Everything or how they want us to think, they teach us how to think. You know what I'm saying? They even have they cut the days short. They have daylight saving time. They add days to the calendar because they trying to, you know, in the Bible said they should try to, you know, change the seasons and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because they try not to give us the right date for the Most High to return when King David, the true Messiah, not Jesus Christ that was invented in the 1500s, to return. And let me just show you how deceived we have been, right? Now, let's say, for example, I go from the United States or the United States of America to Canada. When you drive into Canada, it's only a toll booth that separates Canada from the United States, right? So you're telling me if I put my left foot in the United States and put my right foot in Canada, I'm in a different country? So I'm stepping in two countries. Does that make sense to y'all? So they tell us based on an invisible line or a toll booth, or in this case, a wall and shit, because a wall separates Mexico, yeah, I call it Mexico, from the United States. So a wall actually separates countries. A wall. You have trees, you have the same fruits, whatever, growing in the same place in Mexico that's growing here in the United States of America. But they use an invisible wall, in some cases a literal wall, to separate countries, and all of a sudden you're in another country. So you have people now that's in Mexico speaking Spanish, and you have people on the other side of the wall speaking English, but we're in two different countries. Did y'all know that America, right, let's say California, Arizona, belong to the Mexicans? Did y'all know that these Europeans, these colonizers, these invaders, right, these occupiers came and stole the land? This is why you see on the United States border they speak, according to them, English, and on the other side they speak Spanish, because originally the original Aboriginal people, right, of the land, Turtle Island, they was black first, and then you had the Mongoloids came in and mixed in and shit, the Indians or whatever. But really and truly, the United States doesn't belong to the Europeans. It really belongs to the Mexicans. They actually have more right to this land than the Europeans do, than even us, some of us black people do, because a lot of us came from West Africa. So I don't understand why they calling them illegals, why they need paper to cross over into their fucking land that was stolen from them, from the so-called Europeans. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm making this video, because I want y'all to understand, family, that I don't believe anything these white people say. I don't go with their calendar. I don't believe in their time zone or time frame, because they create these narratives. They create these scenarios for us to believe in. Even in the New Testament, they tell you that Jesus Christ died on Friday and rose on Sunday. When Jesus, according to the scriptures, says he's going to give you a sign, and I'm paraphrasing, so how Jonah was in the fish belly for 3 days and 3 nights. This is the way how the Son of Man is going to be in the ground, right? So 3 days and 3 nights. You can't get 3 days and 3 nights from Friday to Sunday, because when Mary Magdalene went to the sepulchre, right, when it was yet still dark, according to the scripture, again paraphrasing, it was still dark outside when she came to the sepulchre to go anoint the body of Jesus, your Christ, not mine's, right? It was still dark outside. Now remember, it's customary that you do not do any work on the Shabbat. Now think about it. If Mary, all right, if Jesus died on Friday and Mary came 3 days and 3 nights, according to them, right? According to the teaching from Christianity, which is bullshit. If Mary came to the sepulchre, right, after the Shabbat, because remember, it's not customary to do any work, so she wouldn't have came Saturday to anoint the body of Christ. So that means she would have to come Sunday to anoint the body of Christ. Now, when she came to the sepulchre, he wasn't there. Now, it didn't say when she got there he was raising out of the tomb. It just means the nigga wasn't there, according to the scriptures, right? He wasn't there. But a lot of people would have you believe, a lot of pastors, agents of the devil, would have you believe that Jesus Christ rose on Sunday. Now, who witnessed him rising on Sunday? No one did. Because only Mary Magdalene and whoever was with her, right, when they went to the tomb was rolled away and his body wasn't there. Only his covering, whatever the fuck they covered him with, right? The sharin or whatever they call it. So you have to really and truly, Christians, read the story for yourself. Stop following the narrative that the pastor is giving you, because it doesn't make sense. Because if I go to Tyrone's house on a Friday night, let's say around 9 o'clock, and I knock on the door and his mother come to the door and say, yo, or his wife or whatever, say, yo, Tyrone ain't here. And I don't ask any other question. I say, all right, cool. And I leave. Does that mean Tyrone was, taken up by the Most High or the God, when I got there? I apologize, family. That was my sister coming in, basically calling me, telling me that my mother fell down again. What happened early in the week? She's actually an elderly woman, and in the week she had fell down cleaning the bathtub and fractured 4 of her ribs. So she was in the hospital for a couple of days, and they, sent her back home. And apparently this morning, around the time that the call was coming in, my sister went to go see her to check on her, and she found her on the floor again. And she said she was on the floor from like 4 o'clock, or 4:10 this morning, up until around maybe 6, 7 o'clock, or whatever time you see my sister call me. That's the time my sister discovered her. So yeah, so my spirit is a little bit down right now, but I'm going to try to finish the video. So what I would like for y'all to do, family, when you pray to your Creator, right, not Jesus Christ. If you're going to pray to Jesus Christ on behalf of my mother, don't do it. All right, because I don't want Jesus, which is Satan, the death angel, to come and get her. Because, Jesus said, pick up your cross and follow him. And when you follow Jesus Christ, you're going to meet your demise. Because when he picked up his cross, you know what happened after that. He died, right? So please do not pray on her behalf using that name, JC, because Jesus Christ was invented in the 1500s. And when you do, go on your knees, I'm asking if you could pray to your Creator, Hashem, y'all refer to him as God, and ask him to cover her. All right? Do me that favor. But anyway, let me just finish up the story. So again, piggybacking on the last video, if you was to go, let's say for example, if I went to Tyrone's house to ask for Tyrone and whoever answered the door say he's not here, does that mean that's the time Tyrone left? Or does it mean basically that, he's just not there? Now, if I was to inquire what time Tyrone left, which I wouldn't do, they'd probably give me a time frame. So when Mary Magdalene went to the so-called tomb, according to the story, right? She didn't see Jesus Christ. The tomb, the stone was rolled away from the sepulchre, and he wasn't there, because they went there to anoint his body with herbs and stuff and spices, and he wasn't there. But Christianity would teach you that he rose on Sunday. But remember, it didn't say they witnessed him ascending to God on Sunday. It just said, while it was yet still dark. Because it's a couple of different accounts, but it said when it was yet still dark, right, they went to the tomb and he wasn't there. Now, according to Christianity, it says he died on Friday and rose on Sunday, which is impossible, because according to Jesus, when they asked him for a sign, paraphrasing, he said the sign will be how when Jonah was in the fish belly 3 days and 3 nights. That's how it's going to be where the Son of Man is in the grave, something like that, right? So which means the sign would have had to been 3 days and 3 nights, not 3 days, because you can't get 3 days and 3 nights from Friday to Sunday, because again, Mary went to the sepulchre or the tomb while it was just still dark, and it's customary. I'll put it this way: it's not customary to do any work on a Shabbat. So, which means that if you believe the story, he would have succumbed to his demise on Friday. Nobody did anything with him on the Shabbat, because I think it was Nicodemus that asked Pontius Pilate for his body, according to the story, on Friday, right? And laid him down, and they didn't do anything with him. Or they might have prepared his body on Friday and laid him to rest in the sepulchre, and no one else seen him after that until Mary went back there. But the story doesn't make sense, because if I was to really truly tell you the story and break it down, y'all would be like, this shit is bullshit. You know what I mean? But if you read the Bible for yourself, which a lot of you Christians don't, it says in the midst of the week, the Son of Man was cut off. In the midst of the week. The midst of the week is the middle of the week. So that would have been like somewhere around maybe Wednesday. And it would make more sense, right? Because you could get 3 days and 3 nights from Wednesday to Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Because if he was cut off in the midst of the week, and remember, your New Testament Bible clearly states he was cut off in the midst of the week, which is the middle of the week. So on Wednesday, he would have died, right? According to y'all, he was hung on a cross. But in the Bible, it says he was hung on a tree. Okay, and a lot of y'all might say, well, the cross, it was made out of a tree, whatever. Anyway, so let's say he died on Wednesday, right? Nicodemus, I think, it was the one that asked for his body. He would have gotten his body after his death, because, I mean, when they put him on the cross, he didn't die right away. So we don't know how long it took for him to die, because nobody was there. Nobody was there. So let's say he died. Whenever Nicodemus got his body, right, they would have had to bury him within 24 hours, because it was customary for them to bury their dead. A lot of you Hebrews got loved ones, and I'm sure y'all don't bury y'all dead within 24 hours. So you see, as much as you try to follow the Hebrew custom 100%, we can't do it. It's impossible. That's why I don't, anyway, that's for another video. So, yes, so let's say everything was done before the Shabbat, because, you know, we know on the Shabbat we don't do any work. They wouldn't have been able to even dress the body. So it doesn't make sense to me, because, again, it's customary for you to bury the dead. And if Jesus, let's say, stated that, okay, 3 days and 3 nights he's going to be in a tomb or whatever, right? Or the grave. Then if you want to count from Wednesday to Sunday, you can get 3 days and 3 nights. But you cannot get 3 days and 3 nights from Saturday to Sunday. It's impossible for you to get 3 days and 3 nights. And I know a lot of y'all are going to try to twist it and turn it to make it fit your narrative that the Roman Catholic Church gave you, which is that Sunday is the Lord's Day. So because they wanted to change the Shabbat from the 6th day to the 7th day instead of worship, they told you that bullshit. And a lot of y'all are worshiping this deity called Jesus that was invented in the 1500s and believe the story. But family, I just wanted to bring this to y'all to let y'all know we've been deceived. There's a lot of distraction out there. There's something going to happen before the year is up, and I'm not talking about December or January, because January doesn't begin the new year. The new year begins in the spring. Everything dies around January. The Hebrew New Year actually begins around springtime. So when I stated to y'all that something major is going to happen before the year is up, I mean before, let's say, March or April, you know what I'm saying, is up. That's when things are going to happen. So in other words, before the spring start, I guess next year, something as major is going to happen. So y'all better start preparing, all right? Start stacking up on food items, non-perishable food items, water, batteries, flashlight, whatever, because something is about to pop off. That's why you have this major distraction with Trump. Now you have Giuliani in the mix. But anyway, family, I got to go. Shalom.